Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Sports Affiliation Betting Collaboration. Glad to be with you as always on Thursday. I'm going to be looking at the Thursday night football bet. Um, Still some unknown facts about Trevor Lawrence, pretty big piece of what's going on. So if you want to wait to place your bets, we completely understand. Try to gather as much information as you can. We did place a few bets that I felt like at least on my end, I played into the fact that if Trevor does play, he's going to be limited to some capacity just to have it this late. But just do want to welcome everybody. Evan, how you doing? The co-host, how are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing good, Iggy. Week 7, another week down. We're rocking and rolling, so we're not quite halfway, but we're getting to that point. So another Thursday night game. I feel like, you and I don't always talk about what we're betting on before the games, but I feel like, we know each other pretty well in the area of, sports betting and sports, not even just fandom, just our sports thoughts. I think there may be a little difference here because I know you're a big Jaguars guy, but I know Lawrence injury news may change a little of that. I know that you've mentioned, at least before the season started, I'd like to know, your thoughts now that the Saints defense was old. And I know you made a weak schedule comment. So I don't know. I'm interested to see where this goes and what your takes are on this game overall with these two teams tonight.
Yeah. It's going to be the Saints, doing what they should be doing. They dominate some weeks, have troubles others. That's the NFL in a nutshell, though. It's pretty difficult to nail them all completely on what we're going to try to do. I kind of definitely took some prop routes. So I have 2 prop bets and I have a same game parlay. Do you have a straight bet? Do you have an over under? Do you have a money line? Do you have a spread bet at all tonight?
I do on a 2-leg same game parlay. So I don't actually have it by itself, but I do have a 2-leg parlay that has a money line on the game in it as well. So
Okay, lay on it. Let's go ahead and start with your same game parlay, and
I
then
can jump on that. We can do that. So this includes, I have one of these bets is by itself too, but I'm going with Olave with over 61.5 reception yards. It's a popular bet tonight too. I think it might be one of the most laid bets out there, but this number to me is just too low. I mean, coming off 10 catches, 96 yards. The Jags are not playing well against wide receivers, especially number 1 wide receivers. I mean, Pittman's gone over 95 yards twice. Diggs went over 95. Tank Dell went over 95. I mean, Olave's had 2 games where he didn't, hit over this number of 61. He's averaging 63 yards a game, and the talk around Olave is he's underperforming. So if you're telling me that against this Jaguar defense that all I need is Olave to just get his season average, I just can't stay away from that. He's the number 1 target. He's the number 1 read. He's all those things. And to me, the Trevor Lawrence news, the game script, even the Saints being out 2 offensive tackles, he's still, quick to the ball off the blitz. None of those things to me come into play to really affect the Olave bet here tonight. So I think this number is about 10 yards short. Maybe he shouldn't be at about 80, but I think 70, 71 is more like the number this should be. So I'm going to take that value all day. And I'm going to play that with the Saints money line.
All right.
I toyed around with teasing the points for the Saints to like plus 3.5, just to kind of play that safe, close game factor, win or lose by a field goal. But I like the Saints at home in this matchup. I do think the Jaguars are a better team overall, but the Lawrence news, this team played 2 games in London. Then they played a game against Indy where they let Minshew throw the ball for 323 yards, bailed out a little bit by 3 interceptions. The 37 points the Jags scored to me are a little inflated. I don't think the offense was that good looking. Again, as a whole, they're a good team, but I think those numbers are just a little, you look at 37, you're like, man, okay, the Jags are going to score. And then let's look at this Saints defense that has just held every team they've played, under 20 points. I mean, no Saints game has gone over 40 points yet at all this season. So I just think the Saints at home will be too much. I think the defense steps up. Obviously, if Lawrence is out, even tougher. But either way, I like the Saints money line there. So that's a unit plus 210.
All right, plus 210 with the Saints money line. Olave over 70, you said?
Over 61.5.
61.5. Okay.
I think Olave's line should be like 70.5.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at it live right now. Yeah, it's at 61.5 still, negative 135. I'm seeing it right now on DraftKings. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, dude, my same game parlay is a little more complicated. I just had a little bit of money left over in one of my books, so I just put what I had on it, trying to put its money back if I don't get it. So I was like, well, I might as well shoot for the stars on this one, and then maybe I can just break even on the next bet. Let me see if I can pull it up right here, share it with everybody. Maybe they can see it a little better than possibly, some people like to see things, some people like to hear things, and we're trying to cover both for you over here. So let's see how it pans out. I'll zoom in on it. I think we always have to. These are essentially my bets tonight. We'll get to the other ones here in a little bit. Can you read the screen right there like that, Evan?
Oh, yeah, you can see it.
Okay, here we go. There we go. So I have a 5-leg. But before we do that, I should just give you all the lines right now. We need to always start out the show with the lines. 2.5 point spread for the Saints, 40-point over-unders, negative 130 for the Saints to plus 110 on the money line for the Jags. 73% of the money is on the Jaguars right now. It's kind of an anomaly what's going on right there. I don't know if that's plus money. I don't know if the Jags. I think the Jags might be a little better team overall, but that's when Trevor Lawrence is healthy. So let's get to it, though. We got a 5-leg same game parlay. Got the 007 on there. You see it, 0.07. So not even 0.1 a unit on this. That's okay, though, okay? Because it returns just shy of a unit if it does hit. All right? So here it is. We have the pretty simple thing. I think Kamara, it's basically just a running back parlay with an under 40.5. We see it so many times on Thursday night. Teams just do not score that many points. We talked about playing the under last week, I believe, on the live show, which we will have tonight, at least the first quarter. I think they do most of the game over there on Thursday nights, but I'll be there for the first quarter. And it's just so low the first half. I mean, the scores of the games are so low. I just remember last year when I was doing the watch party, people complaining because there was no scores. So we just went ahead and teased it, and I put it up. But when I put this on there, I believe the line was at 39.5. It was like I said, it's moved to 40. So you could take that if you want the push on the same game parlay, if they allow you to do that. A lot of sites won't allow you. They make you put the hook on there. But that's my first take on it. I went with Kamara over 3.5 receptions and over 27.5 receiving yards. I just think that they're just going to keep dumping the ball, keep dumping it off. I think Kamara is going to keep getting utilized in that sense. There's actually really good edge pressure from Josh Allen. He's got 2 games with 3 sacks. Surprise, surprise, he's in a contract year. And then let's not forget about first overall pick, Mr. Walker. So I think there's going to be times when Carr just simply looks to just dump rid of it to Kamara, and they definitely have, passes designed for him as well. So I think that's a potential. And then I just have Travis Etienne over 80 yards just because if Trevor Lawrence does play, that's great. Maybe the defense respects his arm a little bit, his decision-making, and plays more out of the box. And Etienne gets 80 yards. If Travis doesn't play, he's probably going to get a large volume. Etienne either has the most or the second most touches for running backs in the NFL thus far. So the volume's there. We're not worried about that. Demario Davis is a game time decision. We're talking about, Trevor Lawrence and how much of an impact he has on the offense. Demario Davis is the captain of the defense. So he's going to have a huge impact on that defense as well, whether he can play full speed or not, whether he even will play. Those are up to debate. So that's my 5-leg. Once again, over 40.5. Kamara over 3.5 receiving yards. What was it? I guess, let me see here. Did I not get it all in there? Or is that it? Oh, yeah. There's
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm forgetting a leg here.
Oh, you are forgetting a leg.
Yeah, there it is. And then the Jags to win by 1.5 points on that spread. So last second field goal, something like that to get them the 2-point spread. And if that hits, like I said, we will be at almost from 0.1 unit to 0.94 unit. So almost, you look at that as a 0.8 something gain unit off of just something that if I don't hit, I get money back. And it was just a little bit of change left in my FanDuel account. So that's my same game parlay. What else you got for us, man, tonight?
Nice. Is that ETN? Is that 80 yards on the ground or 80 yards total?
80 yards on the ground. I think he's going to have a good round game. He's like I said, he has the volume. He's the leading targets or leading. He has more rushes than anybody. He's either one ahead or one below somebody. I should have had that stat pulled up. I looked at it yesterday.
Yeah, I thought that's what that was. The volume's there. So, like I said, though, we've got a little. You got the Jags there -1.5. I got the Saints money line in 1. So there's a little bit of difference there. I'm not surprised. That's good. We don't want to agree all the time. That's no fun.
Oh, yeah, man.
I love the Kamara angle, though. I mean, the Jaguars are a heavy blitz team, too. I mean, Kamara, you're looking at a season average there for his receiving yards. I think he could – I looked at his over. I think his receiving yards, I don't know if you teased that down, but I think they're up to over 31.5 right now is the line. So, that's a good spot to go 27.5. So the Demario Davis news, is definitely not good for the Saints. So I thought about if I wanted to announce this one because I took it earlier in the week, but I'm going to do it because I don't take unders very often, and it goes kind of with the theme of what I thought we'd have going on here today. I got ETN under 64.5 rushing yards. The volume's there, but again, I look at a guy that is right now on just kind of a touchdown frenzy as well. And don't get it twisted, man. I love Travis Etienne. I'm a big fantasy owner of him. I think he's explosive. I think he's amazing. I think this line is doing well. But he had 18 carries for 55 yards last week. 2 touchdowns made it help. He had another game where he had 20 carries for 55 yards. The volume's been there. The yards have been there when the opponents have been favorable, I believe. He had Buffalo. I forget the other game, but, it was Atlanta and Houston Atlanta and who was Indy last week, who bottled him up. He did have more than that against Indy the first week. I think on 18 carries as well. He had 70 yards. So he's averaging, not a surprise. They have his number right in between those two numbers, right? So that makes pretty good sense. I just think this Saints run defense, they're not giving up many yards per game. They're only giving up about 93 yards on the ground. The only guy that's hit over this number was Derrick Henry, and I think it was by a yard. Again, Davis scares me a little bit, and if Lawrence doesn't play, the amount of times that he might see 20 or more carries, that could play into it. But I do believe that the Saints find a way to score some points in this game if they can score in the red zone, which is an issue for them, and I'll get into that too. And that maybe limits, ETN on the ground, which probably kind of goes into what you have there. I think they may use him a little more in the passing game. That won't affect the under rushing yards. So give me ETN under 64.5. Laid it earlier. I'll stick to it. I'll lay the under.
Why not? I love it. Yeah, it's totally okay. I kind of, I only have 1.77 units on this game, and my next bet is only a 0.2 unit, but I was able to get a boost on it, so it has a pretty decent return of 0.62, so almost half the unit return on a 0.2 unit bet. That I'm okay if you want to place a full unit on this bet. It's at plus money regardless. Travis Etienne, man, over 3.5 receptions. I have the stats pulled up. Let me just pull them up right here for everybody. Get it going. Let's see. But yeah, the reason I did is he's gotten this line, I believe, every 3 weeks out of the 6. And with Trevor Lawrence possibly, being hurt, I don't know why he wouldn't check down more or why he wouldn't utilize his running back more if he can be mobile. I think there's going to be some design kind of short passes that are actually more like runs. And there it is right there. Let me just go ahead and get that back up there with the screen for everybody. I don't know if they can see it right there, but that's what we have it. And his targets have been 5-3, 5-3, 5-3. So just on that synchronicity alone, we should be back to 5, right? Keep him with that rhythm. But you know, the good thing is he catches most of his passes on his threes. He's catching the threes on the fives. He's catching 4 or 5. So if you throw it to him, he tends to catch it. He has rhythm with Trevor Lawrence. I think that's very underrated that they've played together longer than their NFL career, you know. And so I just think that they have some kind of synchronicity that maybe they don't have to discuss with others, or checks that they don't have to discuss with others. And I just think that, you know, we don't even need the yards out of this. We just need him to do something he's done 3 times. And, you know, and I'll go with those odds every time at plus money. At New Orleans, you just talked about how good they are. Granderson's really good. You got, you know, if not Davis, they also have Marcus May in coverage. You know, of course, we talk about Marshawn Lattimore often, I believe, right? If there's a chance for that secondary to shut it down, I think ETN gets the benefits of that. And I think 3.5 receptions are well within play, and it's at plus money. So, like I said, I placed 0.2 unit on it because they maxed it out on me at a certain price for that boost, but I went ahead and took the boost. So that's all good with me.
Nice. I love it. You know, I love pass catching running backs as well. So, and like you said, I mean, the corners in New Orleans are pretty good. I think, you know, good matchups with Kirk and Ridley in that passing game. But, you know, if they stick it to them, even more reason for ETN to be involved. And, you know, Cam Jordan there as well, not having as good of a year against the pass, but he is bottling up the run. So I think 4 catches, don't matter if they're behind the line of scrimmage or where the heck they go, you know. So I like that number, man. What do you like for the score of this game, Iggy?
I think it's going to be pretty low scoring. That's why I mean, we can look at some anytime touchdowns, but I kind of, when I placed that under 40, I was thinking 2017. You know, each team scores a couple touchdowns, maybe one per half. And then, you know, one team scores 2 field goals and one team scores 1 field goal. You know, it's kind of, can see that happening.
It's kind of right where I'm at. 20-13, 20-16 type thing with the more field goals too. I like that. Just wondered where your thoughts were. I definitely, I mean, if there was a game to go the under, this is it, you know, for sure, especially with all things considered. But with that, I'm also going to a kicker tonight. I'm taking the Saints kicker, Blake Groupie. I don't know if it's group or groupie, but anyway, the Saints kicker, over 1.5 field goals made. It's plus money. Plus 105. He's back at home. He's had a good season. He had one game where he didn't make any field goals, but the other 5 games, he's been over 3 or more field goals. He's hit 3 in 4 games and 4 in 1 game. He's been good, you know, and talked about the struggles of the Saints in the red zone. I think they'll be able to move the ball. Talked about the pass defense of, you know, the Jags. I think Carr's going to, you know, he threw the ball 50 times last week. I think that shoulder's okay. But can they capitalize when they get in the red zone? You know, they might get a touchdown or 2, but I'm going to go kind of with the trend, you know, that they stall out a little, but I like the matchup to move the football. So you need 2 field goals from a guy plus money. He's hit this number in almost every game. It's just too good to stay away. So 2 field goals. I like it.
Yeah, dude, I bet Justin Tucker when I woke up right before the game, got it in like literally about 2 minutes before the game started in London last week. I mean, it hit in the first quarter. So, you know, you got to love those 1.5 field goals from, you know, Dennis Allen, defensive-minded coach, you know, probably just wants to get the points, let his defense do the work, you know, that kind of mindset. So,
you know what, Iggy, now, and you said that too. I don't know if they're the last place team in it, but they are one of the lowest in going for it on 4th down. I think they've gone for it like 4 or 5 times. And to put that in perspective, a team like the Colts have gone for it like 15 times. So they're kind of behind the curve. So just to echo what you said there, you know, and things to look for, right? Because those are the kind of things that ruin a field goal bet. You're inside the 30 on 4th and short. You got a team like the Eagles or the Colts that always go for it. You got limited opportunity for the kicker. In this case, more opportunity for the kicker on a team that moves the ball, but also struggles in the red zone. So, you know, 1 + 1 equals 2.
That's why Carlson was such a great kicker those years, because Carr couldn't put it in the red zone, man.
I mean, I took Carr, so I, you know, forced last night for a quarterback, you know, on the midweek madness, but, you know, it scares the crap out of me because he's a 250 yards, you know, no touchdown machine, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. I think on a live bet, dude, I think I want to go back and put a unit on the 40. Just take the 40 on the under, and that's 5 touchdowns and 2 field goals. Like, that's the quickest route to get there. I mean, 4 touchdowns is 28 points. That means 4 touchdowns and 4 field goals from these teams tonight. I just don't see it, man. So I think that's
Thursday night. We've talked about the unders, being in play already. So, again, looking at things that, add up and make sense. The Thursday night games are unders. You got the Jags kind of struggling with, Lawrence and what's going to happen if they run the ball more. You got a Saints team that doesn't score, that doesn't give up points. If there's a game to do it, this is it.
I think this is inflated due to the Patriots game. I think that's what we're seeing right here, the Saints versus the Patriots, and this line's inflated. I'm going to bet it live here in a second. Before we do that, though, Evan, I do want to get a shout-out to our guys over here at Better Vision. I'm going to pull up the back screen for a little bit. There they are right there, Better Vision. They're our guys sponsoring all of our betting content. Evan and I will be bringing a basketball betting show. It is in the works. We're planning on Fridays for you. It'd be Thursday, Fridays, but of course you can go catch us on Spotify as well. Sports Affiliation, just go over there. It's exclusively our betting content for now. Evan's really good about posting stuff on Sundays as well. And he's been on a roll. We didn't get your unit count updated before the show, but I think you're still somewhere right around 10. You can't argue with that. That's great success. We're going to place this live bet, and you know what? We're going to be able to see it right there on the Better Vision app that you see right in the middle, man. So just please go subscribe to that. Download the app if you have an Apple phone. And then the Fantasy Football Advice Network, you want to go over there. Hey, I have a bet that we're not even talking about on here, posted on the Fantasy Football Advice Network, okay? So if you want to see what it is, it's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite parlays to put together. Go put it over there. Go check it out. Download the app. Tell them Iggy sent you from the Sports Affiliation, along with Evan, guys. All right, so we're back at it. I want to give my bet of the day, man. I'm going to go make a jailhouse bets as soon as this is over so that we can talk about it. Bring the screen back up for us right here. I got Granderson up. You're going to see right here the betting collaboration chart. It's down there for a reason, and it's Granderson over 3.5 tackles plus assists. He's known as a sack specialist. I've picked him up and dropped him in fantasy using him multiple weeks. But, guys, I just keep harping to you. One of the first things Evan and I talked about, how do you envision a game going? Now, on Sunday, you have a lot to account for. Thursday betting, I think, is really good for this purpose. Don't go crazy. You don't need to bet 10 units on one game, all right, unless you're, seeing something and you're betting, 1 or 2 bets, and you're like, all right, I'm all in on this one bet. I'm okay with that. But what I mean is you don't need to be posting or you don't be betting 7 or 8 things to go right, okay, because that's just hard to do, all right? That's so difficult to do. So my game script is I'm planning on seeing a lot of ETN, even if Trevor Lawrence is there, second, a lot of quick checkdowns, a lot of screen passes, and a lot of runs to get outside the tackles so that Trevor Lawrence can just do a shotgun handoff, all right? He doesn't have to be as mobile as he normally would have to with that knee. With that being said, Granderson over 3.5 tackles plus assists. I got 1.5 units on it, and that's bringing back 2.65 units. So it's my big bet of the day. I'm feeling good about it. Let's go pull up some stats from him as well. Like I said, I've been paying attention to him, being an IDP guy naturally. But you can see a snap count right there. 4th-year guy out of Wyoming. He's doing so good, he got paid. They gave him a 4-year extension. But you can see his tackles every week from the second week on. He's had 4, 4, 4, 6 last week. He's had sacks in 4 out of 6 games thus far. Jacksonville offensive line is not great. Why did Trevor Lawrence get his knee hurt? Because he was scrambling around because he was under pressure. All right, I wouldn't say that. People would go out there and say the Colts have the best, necessarily blitz defense out there. So the Saints have an experienced defense, a great defensive-minded head coach. And I think Granderson's due. This could be his first kind of big primetime game there, Evan. So I'm taking it. That's my bet, 3.5. He's given me 4 weeks of consistency getting it. I've been watching him on tape, actually, because, like I said, I picked him up and dropped him. I think I wrote about him 2 weeks ago. So I'm just all in on him. I think he can get it. Like I said, tackles plus assist. I don't want to just choose one or the other. I just want this guy getting his big body on ETN a couple times, maybe getting down Trevor Lawrence or the quarterback twice by it being upset,
I love it. And, if Demario Davis is ruled out, this is a line that maybe goes up, to 4.5 possibly, right? Or just, which is fine because you've already got the bet in there. But again, talking about that question mark, He doesn't play as much. He's limited. This guy's on the rise. I love it. So, I mean, 3.5, you said, right? So here we go.
Got it on there, huh?
I just laid it right now.
All right, dude. Love it. Yeah.
I'm tailing right there. IDP Iggy, baby. Look out for those jailhouse bets. You got to tail, man. We take the bets that we talk about. We trust each other as well. We don't take each other's bets every time, but I did love what you were saying about the, not going crazy, betting, because, we have our success, we have our failures, right? We're just regular people. And the other day, good success on the NLCS. And I was like, I'm going to bet on the ALCS. And definitely didn't have the same confidence or I really think this. It was more like, let me look for something I think that can happen, and kind of forced myself into playing multiple plays. And I'll tell you right now, none of them hit, so it's like,
yeah.
Sure,
really, man, let us down.
I should have just stayed away from it, and, I made up more of what I thought could happen than really knowing, what I believe happens, that happens though, I mean, I love to bet. Sometimes I'm bored and I bet too much. I mean, it happens,
right. Yeah, you and me too. We're just sharing our advice, and it is true when you're hot, but then all of a sudden you're not going to be hot. And, I laid off the ALCS. I laid some 0.2 units on my Colorado Avs, nothing serious. I'm keeping my focus on football and basketball. I'm saving my bankrolls for those sports. And that's what I'm trying to bring a focus to. But yeah, man, you got another bet to bring us to close it out. I'm betting as well. I'm placing a lot on the under 40.5.
Nice. Yeah, I hit that.
There it is right there. Bing.
Boom, got it.
We're good.
Yeah, I hit that 5-legger on the NLCS the other day, and got a little too confident,
That's the way it goes, man.
Those don't happen every day, but it's always nice to hit them, So that was a good day, Max. I laid most of those by themselves too, and I really liked them. But sometimes you just find the angle that you like. I mean, you have the 1.5 today on Granderson, and I think that's a good point too, is, putting that extra money on something you really, really do believe in, and going lower on the ones that maybe, kind of rating your bets, right? Or how you talk about what you're good at, right? And so,
and I think another point real quick, Evan, is when you hit a good streak like Evan's at 10 units, maybe just withdraw 2.5 units, withdraw 3 units. So now, no matter what, I've added a plus. I'm working towards my goal of hitting the unit count. And it's just little chips at a time. It's just like a baseball game. You can't force your way into more outs than 3 at a time, but most of the time they happen 1 at a time, And you got to be willing to accept those small victories to get to that 9th inning and be like, okay, all we need is just a little routine sacrifice fly, and we get to our goal. That's how I kind of look at it.
Love it. Yeah, little small ball style, small ball betting style there. So one more, go back to Olave here. Longest reception of the night for Olave, over 23.5 yards, was at -115. Talked about Tank Dell, Michael Pittman, Stephon Diggs. Each one of these guys have a reception against the Jags of 39 yards or more. This line is at 23.5. Olave's average depth of target is 15.1. The Jags do have a legit amount of missed tackles. I just think there's a lot of opportunity for him to catch the ball and run. There's also the opportunity to just catch a long ball down the field. I love this play for Olave, man. Over 23.5. I think he can, which obviously helps towards the total of 61.5. That's a third of it right there. But yeah, longest reception, over 23.5. And I didn't lay this one, but if you're a Rashid Shaheed guy who's been coming on strong for the Saints, his average catch right now is 17.5 yards. I just told you what this matchup presents for the Saints receivers. His longest reception is over 18.5. So almost just his regular catch against these corners. Maybe something to look at. It's also at -115. I have not laid anything there, but I do have the Olave one over 23.5. So,
yeah. Like I said, I was feeling good with this game being on the under. Somebody's going to have to catch the ball. Carr's looking healthier. We don't have to worry about his Winston coming in or anything like that. Carr's looking, he made pretty good effort in that last game. He's had about 2.5 weeks to recover now. So, I think he'll be good to go when it's time to go with it. Yeah, Thursday Night Football, man, you can see it right there. We got the Thursday check down with Greg, our Hall of Famer tonight, and it will be at 7 Eastern time. Goes from 7 to 8, I guess. It goes 5 to 6 Mountain time. That's what I know. And so we'll be there producing the show, and then you want to hop on that as well. We got a surprise guest coming in this week, a little switch around, no problem. It's going to be great. We got a senior editor coming in from some website talking about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Want to make sure you're on there. We do have our betting charts. If you want us to just share your betting charts with us, we're working on it, but we'll be glad to just share what we got, send you a snapshot, kind of see bits and pieces of it on the show right now. But want to check that out. And then we have the watch party tonight, Thursday, watching the game as well, 7 p.m. And then Friday, tomorrow, Coach goes back to college. You want to check that out as well because Coach has been really good on his college bets lately. That's how he builds his bankroll. Remember, we're trying to build your bankroll over here. Once again, just to wrap it up, I got let's just show the screen real quick so I don't have to read it off like I do this. And then that will be my total count right there. 1.77 units with the possibility of winning 4.21 units. Okay, so we can more than double our money tonight if they all hit. We just want our 1.5 to hit. As long as that unit hits, we obviously have a big hit. We got a couple boosts on the ETN over here for me, and then the 5-leg same game parlay. Pretty nuts to do 5 legs, but you never know. Evan, anything you want to say to recap your bets, and then we'll get out of here, my man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have mine upload on the chart, but I will. I'll put a tweet out with all my plays in there for you as well. So just check it out on there. It'll be uploaded in just a few minutes. But got ETN under 64.5 rushing yards at -120. Got Olave longest reception over 23.5 yards, -115. Got the 2-leg Olave reception yards over 61.5 and Saints money line plus 210. And then Saints kicker Blake Group over 1.5 field goals made plus 105. So 4 units out there. In my head, it's probably about a return of like what, 0.8?
Got to be a little over. It's got to be about 9.
Yeah, about 9. Yeah, 8 to 9 right there with that plus
9,
210 and plus 105. So pretty much. So we'll see. I mean, like I said, I have no idea who gets in the end zone, if anybody gets in the end zone. But I like these plays regardless of that. Other than that, yeah, man, check everything out. All the shows, like you said, Coach has been on fire with college. If you like betting on college football, he has props, he has straight bets. I mean, go check him out. He knows his stuff. And don't miss the watch parties Thursday and Monday night, man. Sports Affiliation, better than the Manning cast is how we call it. And it is. It's a lot more fun. You can see Iggy working out on Mondays in shorts. And
I don't work out tonight. Yeah,
no, just Mondays. You got to come back Monday if you want to see Iggy's sweet legs working out. So other than that, man, shout out Better Vision, shout out Fantasy Football Advice Network. Man, I was on there late last night responding to some, questions and lineup things. There's people interacting on there. You can post your questions. You can chime in as well. So, hey, help yourself, build a better lineup, help other people build a lineup. That's what we do. That's what they do. And that's what the community is about, is having fun and helping each other win. So.
Yeah, and just real quick, I do want to make an update. I ended up putting double unit on that live bet on the under. I got it at 40.5, so they gave me the hook still on MGM. Put 2 units on it, returns 4.8 units. I love it. I think it's going to be a good week. I'm feeling confident, feeling good. Don't overdo it. As always, remember what we stress here: bet smart and be lucky. That's my phrase. I will be, just real quick, officially announced today on Fantasy Alarm, giving NBA bets on every game day with 3 or more games. So, unfortunately, I won't have opening day bets there, but guess what? Evan and I probably have some bets, him being a Laker fan, me being a Nuggets fan. I think we're trying to do a watch along as well. TSA is loaded with Western Conference people, but mainly like Nuggets, mainly Lakers people. But we won't let that skew our vision. We want to be a good bettor. You got to be smart. You got to look at other teams. You're going to look at good lines. You don't care who the teams are necessarily. You care about the line. That's part of betting smart. All right. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to, once again, our sponsors, Better Vision. Go download the app. And it's also the Fantasy Football Advice Network. You heard Evan say he was there. They have a points after. They have a PAT points after Thursday, I believe is what it's called. So after the game, they have a little 1 hour show as well. So go check that out as well. All right, man, I'm going to get out of here. You see the schedule on the bottom. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you're not already. Please like it. If you're watching it on X, go to the YouTube, give us a subscription. You can interact with us on there with the comments directly going into our feed. All right, guys, appreciate it. We're out of here. Take care.